Come on in, welcome to my home. Well, today is doubly not the video I had planned on making for you. My first intention had always been making the video about the Halloween cocktails. Well, mocktails probably. But that did not come together the way that I thought it would, and I'm still missing pieces for it, so that will be a little bit later on. However, I was like, okay, so what do I do? So then I thought, well, I do have these book nooks, and one of them was a greenhouse type book nook, and all these things are cute little things that you put together and you put them on your shelves, and they light up and they look like a little room on your bookcase. I'm like, that's cool. Okay, so I was thinking, this shouldn't be very hard because I always loved putting together models for my model train. I used to have a model train. Loved that. It was so much fun to do. Spent hours doing it. Lots of fun. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this. So then I took it, start taking it apart, or I started putting it together. Read the directions first because I was like, okay, let's read the directions and everything. And so I started, and we ran into problems almost right away. One of the things that they tell you is that you need to cut the pieces apart so that you can then, get them together, because they come as one big sheet, and you can see in the video, I don't need to explain that part. But the thing that you'll notice is that my brand new blade on the knife was too thick. There was barely enough room to get the pieces separated. Like, okay, so then you could just break them apart, just push them apart, no problem. Okay. And then they're like, we need to file off the burrs off of each end. And I'm like, what? So yeah, then I had to go through and make sure all the burrs were removed. And I'm like, okay, no problem, no problem. So then I go to start fitting the pieces together, and I noticed right away things were not fitting together. Like, not fitting together well at all. And I was thinking, no, this has to be me. It's just because I haven't done a model in so long. It has to be me. But things really weren't fitting together. And then the directions, which had very little writing on them, were kind of vague in things, or they would tell you to use there's supposed to be two different kinds of glue. They're not. There was only one kind of glue. And they'd tell you to attach something to something else, and then like the outline, because one of the things that I attached was the flowers to the back part. The outline for the flowers to attach doesn't actually fit the piece that you have. I mean, while things are cut fairly well, they're not cut perfectly. And things which shouldn't need two sides have two sides, and you're like, well, which side do I use? And it became a demonstration in frustration, because so things didn't fit, things were hard to get together. I'm sanding each entire piece, and then I'm realizing, wait, I don't need to do that because that piece isn't actually going to butt up against anything. And then, of course, it's still the whole, but this doesn't even make any sense because it's not in the perfect place. I mean, one of the things that I will give for model making, if you're building those models that you just attach together, they don't have pieces that have to interlock, you can get away with a few more things, enough clamps, that sort of thing. You can then get it to be attached, or you can put in filler, whatever you want to do, because you're probably going to paint it, whatever. But these come fully painted is not the right word, printed, fully and everything, so it has to fit perfectly. If it does not fit perfectly, it will not work. Will not work whatsoever. And guess what? These did not work. Not only that, the pieces were very small and very, fragile. You had to be super, super careful with them just to get them apart, just to get them together. There was a film, as you can see and I saw in the video, there was a film on there, which the clear pieces had a film. You couldn't tell which side had the film on it. They didn't really show you how to get the film off. Ended up taking white duct tape and peeling that off. But I'm like, okay, fine. took a deep breath, and I soldiered forward because I started this project and it was great and it was going to go, I was going to have the time of my life. Then I realized something. I was hating this, like hating this with all of my being because it wasn't fun. It's not fun to try to put something together that will not go together. And I sat there and I looked at it for a while and I thought about it. And then I looked at the pieces going, wait, that looks awful. That absolutely looks terrible. So then I took a closer look at the actual picture of the item in the description. It looks bad. I mean, you can see where the pieces snap together. It does not look great at all. I mean, I guess I got the idea of some of these book nooks where they put them together and they painted them and all that sort of stuff. That's not this. This looks bad. So I was just like, do I just quit? And what does that say if I just quit? And I realized that says nothing. I can just quit. Just because you start something does not mean you always should finish it. There are times when quitting is actually the better idea, because this was supposed to be something fun. It was going to be a lot of fun for me to do. I mean, it's getting darker in the evenings. I could put my evening together, putting this together, and instead I was getting frustrated. Pieces wouldn't fit, nothing would go together, nothing would hold in place. You try to get one end in, the other end would pop out, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This is frustrating. I'm getting angry. I'm going to stop. And it was okay. The big thing to remember is, like, if you have a hobby and you were like, well, I've invested all this time, all this energy, all this money into this hobby, but I don't find it fun anymore, guess what? You can quit. You can sell your hobby items, you can give them away, you can do whatever. But the big takeaway from this is, if something is not working for you anymore, no matter how much time and effort and everything that you put through it, and you still kept trying and it still became even more frustrating, it's okay. It's okay to stop. It's okay to find, like, maybe you have another thing you want to start interested in, try doing something else. But just because you started one thing does not mean that you have to continue it if you truly, truly, truly hate it. And I can tell you, putting this together was the absolute worst. And I mean, part of me still in my back of my brain, even as I was like saying, no, it's all right, you can give this to somebody. Then even I was going, well, okay, if I give it to somebody, what are they going to do with something that does not fit together? Yeah, I mean, sure, you could work on it and make it so that it could fit together by recutting the pieces and cutting the holes and slots, but it would never fit together the way it was supposed to, because it was not manufactured with the precision that one would need to get it together. This was out of my control. I had no control over how it was made, printed, cut, that sort of thing. And it was okay. It's okay to stop something that you find so frustrating, that you find so horribly terrible. Does this mean I will never do another Book Nook kind of thing? No. It means that I'm going to take my time and look at them and see what it is that I'm actually trying to get out of it, and what it is that actually goes together well. What does it look like when it's finished? Because, like I said, when I looked at this, I realized, no, that's actually it looks kind of bad. Like, I can see where the pieces snap together. I can see all of that, and it's not impressive. The impressive part was the things inside of it, like the baskets of flowers, that sort of thing. That was really cool. But then it got me thinking, and this is where you have to be really careful about these things, is, okay, so this part didn't work. Will any of the rest of it work? And the answer was, do I even want to find out? And the answer was, no. So I stopped. I did. I'm not going to touch it, not going to do another one of those. If I do another Book Nook, it will be one of those put together more like a model, not something that snaps together, not something that has to have such precision that if the pieces do not snap together, they will not work. No, I want one that I can glue together. If something doesn't come together completely right, I'll fill it in. And it's okay. You have my permission totally to stop something that is so frustrating, that is making you so upset that you can't get it done. Stop. Stop doing that thing. If you started gardening and you realize that you hate gardening, take out the garden. Yeah, you can do it. You have a whole bunch of flowers and you don't like to take care of your indoor plants, that sort of thing. Give them to people. There are people out there who would love to have your indoor plants and that sort of thing. Maybe you'll go with all fake plants. Maybe you'll go with nothing. I don't know. But the whole big thing about this was, for something that was supposed to make me relax and happy and everything, this just made me upset and frustrated and angry. And I didn't need that. I didn't need that at this time of year. Don't need that at any time of year. So I stopped. And you know what? I gave myself permission to stop. And I feel better knowing that, yeah, I tried it, did not work. Tried it for quite a while, and it didn't work. And so, yeah, I stopped. What about you? Have you ever tried something and you worked your hardest at getting it done, worked your hardest at trying to do it, and you couldn't? It wouldn't work. Maybe it was manufactured wrong. Maybe you didn't have the right tools for that, in which case, if you get the right tools, you can then, work on it and make it better. But the thing about this is, if you're not having fun doing it, why are you doing it? Enjoy yourself. If it's not your absolute job where you're making money at it, and this is how you support yourself, it's something that's supposed to be fun and recreational, and you're not having fun with it, move on to something else. Find something that will be more fun to you. And I have a few ideas about things that I'm going to do. It was an interesting project, but now it's just going away. I feel much better. At this time, I'd like to thank these wonderful people who allow me to start things, try things, and then move on for the things that do not work for me. That's how this channel keeps going, is these wonderful people afford me the ability to try new things and see what works, what doesn't work. If you want to be part of that, go ahead and join the either channel members or Patreon, where you get these videos early, you get a weekly behind the scenes vlog. It's actually kind of fun, and it gives me a chance to ask questions like, what should I do? Like, I don't even know what the next video is going to be, because if the stuff for the drinks, if all of it isn't here, I'm going to have to come up with a new idea. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think and what things you've tried and it didn't work out and you feel okay moving on from it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you take something away from this that lets you go ahead and move on. And I hope we get to see you again next week.